full driver assistance suits with automatic lane changes at the cheapest price of 35,000 euros. This is in a time where Tesla removes autopilot from their cars in the US. Absolutely insane pricing. For 480 kilowatt charging, probably one of the best road tripping electric cars out there. Insane pricing. It's super responsive to open the 360 camera. Hello and welcome to another Autospec roaming video. I am so excited to show you here today the Zeekr 7GT. We have all the specifications, we have the prices, and I will also do a full walk around of the car, of the exterior, look at the design, and then we will look at the space inside and see what this car can offer. I have been driving the Zeekr 7X, the SUV version of this car, for almost 10,000 kilometers, and I think I know the product pretty well, and I can't wait to check out the 7GT. First, I will look at all the specifications of the car. There are two battery options, and one of the batteries is extra exciting for me. I will talk about the motors, I will talk about the car in general. I have experience driving the 7X, the big brother, the SUV, for almost 10,000 kilometers. And I will compare my thoughts about that car. I will talk about the full specifications of the car. Then I will do a walk around of the design, and then we will jump inside the car and take a look at the inside. So let's start with the specifications of this car, because that's what's most important. And I think this car has some fantastic specifications, and I would expect that from Zeekr. This car that we have here is the Privilege all-wheel drive. It is the top spec model that you can get. It has 646 horsepower available. That's delivered through a permanent magnet motor in the rear and an induction motor in the front, which means that we can of course turn off the front motor to run it more efficiently, and the car does that in comfort and eco mode as well. So that's the top of the line drivetrain, and it has a 100 kilowatt hour big battery pack. And this battery pack is made by CATL. It's a Quillen NMC battery, so it's a nickel, manganese, cobalt battery, which means that the cold weather performance should be good, and it is advertised at 480 kilowatts peak charging rate, which is absolutely insane. Pair that with a lower car, more efficient car, this will be an awesome road tripper. It is called the 7GT, so it has to be a fantastic grand tourer, and I think this will be a fantastic grand tourer when looking at the specifications. So that's the top of the line model. So it's 4.5 to 5C charging if you use C-rate. It has a rated range of 558 kilometers WLTP. This indicates that the car might not be super efficient. At the same time, it is on 20-inch wheels. 3.3 seconds 0 to 100 kph, which is absolutely insane specs. Then we have a step down. We have the long-range rear-wheel drive. And on the long-range rear-wheel drive, we have the same battery pack. We have the same Quillen NMC battery pack made by CATL with just the permanent magnet motor in the rear. So they get rid of the induction motor in the front, save some cost, and you get also the car on 19-inch wheels, which means that you get a much better range of 655 kilometers WLTP. I suspect that the wheel size is the main contributor to actual better range, and that it's not that they remove the front motor. I think the tires or the wheels are the main cause of the range increase on the long-range rear-wheel drive. Then we have the most exciting one, the cheapest one. I'm of course joking, this one is the most insane one, but the core rear-wheel drive sounds fantastic because it has a very special battery. 75 kilowatt hour second generation Zeekr Golden battery. It is an in-house battery, which means that Zeekr has developed the battery themselves. It is made with lithium iron phosphate chemistry, and it can offer the same 480 kilowatt charging on a smaller battery, 75 kilowatt hours. What does that mean? That means a higher C rate. It's 5.5 to 6C, which is insane. 519 kilometers WLTP, because it's of course a smaller battery, and it charges in 13 minutes from 10 to 80, compared to the 100 kilowatt hour pack here, which is like 16 minutes, 10 to 80. So it's the one I am most excited about personally. So the pricing. The car in Norway, we all know that Norwegian prices for electric cars are different than, for example, Central Europe. And that's the way it is because of our different VAT rules. But the core rear-wheel drive, the one with the Zeekr Golden battery, starts at, in Norway, 35,000 euro. Absolutely insane pricing. For 480 kilowatt charging, probably one of the best road tripping electric cars out there. Insane pricing. The price is increased for the other models. So long range all-wheel drive is at 43,000 euros and the privilege all-wheel drive that we have here is at 52,000 euros. But I would strongly consider looking at the core rear-wheel drive at that price. Absolutely fantastic pricing from Zeekr. Now, I think we should take a look around the car and then jump inside the car to look at the features. Let's take a look at the design. And you all have eyes, so you can look at the design for yourself. In my opinion, I've been walking around this car for a little bit. It looks fantastic. I like the Zeekr design language, and I've always liked it. And when it's presented in this kind of estate, station wagon, grand tourer, whatever you want to call it, form, I think it looks better than the SUV. I think this car is a more attractive car than the Zeekr 7X. So let's take a look at the side profile, because I think the side profile is very almost Taycan Cross Turismo-like. Like you can see here, it is significantly lower than the 7X, and I can't wait to jump into the driver's seat to see if the seating position is any better, because I want to sit on the floor. So maybe this car is the one for me. And if we move a little bit back here, this is of course the top spec model, the big wheels and everything. We also have this contrasting roof, which I think looks pretty great on this car. It kind of slims down the profile. You don't get that on every trim, but it's a nice option. And here you have this kind of interesting spoiler back here, which I think makes the car way sportier than the 7X. And when talking about like a station wagon, which is the normal name for a car like this, space is very important. So I think we should look a little bit inside the rear hatch and see what kind of space we have, because we have two categories of like station wagons. We have fake station wagons that just kind of look like them, like the Taycan Cross Turismo. Isn't really that practical, but it looks amazing, but it isn't really that practical. So let's take a look at the rear here. We have quite a lot of space. My mom is filming and she agreed with me that the Model Y has significantly more space than this one, which is to be expected. This is a lower car. But since this is an EV from the ground up, we have a bunch of like smart solutions for extra. If you point the camera down here, you can see that we have quite a lot of like extra storage pockets around the car, which I think is fantastic. Something I also noticed is how wide this is. So you should be able to fit a bunch of stuff inside here. For example, I have a dog and I have a dog crate, and it's like a medium-sized dog. The dog crate would fit perfectly inside here. We also have these kind of fastening points in proper metal, which is something that I did notice, and that's something that I usually only see on European cars. And of course, this car is designed in Gothenburg or Göteborg, which means that we will get like European design touches, like these fantastic fastening points for your luggage. Now, this car has a frunk. It's an EV from the ground up, so I would expect it to have a frunk. But the way it is presented is kind of crazy. So let's take a look at the frunk. So, which car does this remind you of? Like the clamshell hood? Well, it's kind of similar to a Lucid Air, in my opinion. You have a small frunk here. I kind of wish they had a bigger frunk, but at least there is a frunk there, and you can store your charging cable that we have here. You know, in Europe we have bring your own cable. So at least it's nice to see that we do have a frunk there. And you open it, not by the screen, you use like a manual lever. I'm not sure if that's something that will be in production, but if we come around here, we can take a look at the lever. You pull this one twice to open the frunk, which is different than the 7X. You do it on the screen with the 7X. In the Privilege all-wheel drive, you get air suspension, which you don't get in the two other models. What you also get in the Privilege all-wheel drive is automatic doors. So we can just jump inside the car like this and close the door with the brake pedal, which is fantastic. And my immediate reaction sitting inside the car is that the seating position is like significantly lower than in a Zeekr 7X. And I can close the door from the screen here, I think. Yes, I can close the passenger door from the screen because we have automatic doors. Now, we have, with automatic doors, that's something that maybe not everyone is interested in, and that's something I've complained about with Zeekrs for a long time, is that if you get the top model, you get the all-wheel drive version, which will be the best-selling model in Norway, I assume, because of all-wheel drive is something that Norwegians really, really want in their cars. And I'm not sure if every Norwegian wants automatic doors, so I wish that was just an option. I do kind of like it, and I think the Zeekr implementation is great. It feels robust. I've never had any issues with the automatic doors in the winter, for example, testing the Zeekr 7X, but I know that not everybody wants it. And it's the same with air suspension. With air suspension coming standard in a Privilege all-wheel drive, you're kind of forced to have all these options. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. The seating position, I want to go lower. I noticed that immediately that I want to go lower. But being able to sit much lower than the 7X is still fantastic. And I can see the heads-up display, which is an amazing heads-up display, really clear, and you can have a mini-map and everything. I've tested the 7X for so long that I know all the features of the heads-up display, and it's fantastic. Glass roof is standard on all of them, all the three trims that we get. All the driver assistance features are standard on all the trims, which is absolutely fantastic. So the 35,000 euro 7GT, you get full driver assistance suits with automatic lane changes at the cheapest price of 35,000 euros. This is in a time where Tesla removes autopilot from their cars in the US. Think about that. Anyway, we have a good mix of physical buttons and a touchscreen, just like any modern car, I would say. But the buttons are updated over the 7X. On here, they are now matte. Before, they were glossy plastic. So it's a nice upgrade on the buttons on the steering wheel. The steering wheel is exactly the same. The switch gear seems exactly the same. Feels a little bit cheap, feels a little bit not tactile. If you have driven a Taycan or a Xiaomi car, you know what I'm talking about when talking about like tactile switchgear. I think this feels a little bit cheap, but the interior itself, especially the light one here, which is an extra option. It comes standard with a black interior, and in the cheapest one you get like less leather and stuff. This is for the both long range versions, but it's like a upgrade I would take. This light interior looks significantly better than the black one, in my personal opinion. I absolutely love a light interior. You have rose gold window switches, which is interesting. And I can tell you that I prefer the seating position over the 7X by so far. It's much better, but I wish I could like sit completely down on the bottom of the car, like in a Volkswagen ID.7 Tourer, which is natural to compare to this one. That car doesn't have the insane specs, the insane charging and everything of this car, and you know, it's quite expensive actually, but I just wanted to compare like the seating position. It feels very different. The center console is new on the 7GT. It feels very Taycan-like. It seems almost right out of a Taycan, I would say, but it feels nice and it looks good, and it adds to the sportiness. I like kind of like a yacht floor, open floor on EVs, but I'm not too opposed to this one either, and it doesn't get in the way, which is important. If you have driven a Polestar 2, you know everything, everything about this center console being in the way. 2 wireless phone chargers, and yeah, a pretty normal center console. 60 watt USB-C here, which it was 100 watt. Doesn't really matter that much. This is a very, very nice screen. It is snappy responsive. It has the newest Zeekr software with like the driving modes here, quick settings. You have the ability to go through the menus here extremely fast. It's super responsive to open the 360 camera. So this is one of the most responsive softwares that are out there. It is absolutely fantastic. Now I think I should move to the rear seats, because in a Grand Tourer we need rear seat space. I also want to mention that you have here an extendable thigh support, which is fantastic for comfort on longer trips. So let's jump in the back seat of the Zeekr 7GT. So automatic doors in the rear as well, which is fantastic. Oh, I forgot to mention that the front seats are ventilated and massaging on the 2 top trims, I think. Anyway, here we have quite a lot of space. I do notice that the floor is pretty high, but like headroom and everything feels great inside the Zeekr 7GT. This is way different than these fake station wagons that I talked about, cars that look like station wagons but aren't really. This one definitely has the space of a station wagon. Materials-wise, around the car, I noticed is that in the front it's fantastic. In the rear it is also fantastic. Some like hard plastics down here and a plastic speaker grill here, which I wish they didn't have on like the top spec interior trim. But everything else feels fantastic. You have the armrest here and you have this kind of leather material all the way around, which feels great to the touch. We have a small, like, you know, on the combustion cars, you have this kind of gear tunnel here. It's not called a gear tunnel, it's a drive shaft tunnel. And you kind of have the same here, which is a little bit disappointing. So sitting in like the middle seat here, you would have your knees pretty high. But the other seats feel fantastic. And do they have any kind of adjustments? Yes, they do. You can move the seats forwards and backwards, and they are super comfortable actually. I noticed that now. They feel fantastic. You have no screen in the rear, and you have to manually fold down these seats if you want to fold them down. So what we have seen with for Tesla's interior upgrades, for example, I just want to compare to them because they have a fantastic solution to electronically put down the seats. We don't have that here. It's like a fully manual seat release for the rear seats, unfortunately. No screen in the rear, but we do have 2 USB-C ports, which I do like. Sometimes automakers still install the USB-A ports, which I think is just stupid. USB-C is the way to go. Door pockets and nice like materials all around. A dark headliner, which I'm a huge fan of. You get the dark headliner even though you have the light interior. I think this combination is just fantastic. You have this kind of beige champagne color, which I've seen in, for example, the Zeekr 001, and it looks nice. Oh, nice center armrest here, and 2 proper cup holders as well in the rear. And you can see that we have so much space because of the glass roof, and the glass roof is standard. You get the glass roof on the absolute cheapest one. That was a full tour, walk around, interior and specifications for the European Zeekr 7GT. I am so much looking forward to actually driving this one. I want to drive it down into Europe. I want to fast charge it over and over and see what happens. I want to really check out how good of a road tripper this one is. So make sure to follow Autospec Roaming, because I will be able to take this one on a proper road trip. Thank you so much for watching today's video on the Zeekr 7GT.